AITA for filing for divorce after discovering my husband hid $127,000 in a secret bank account for 8 years while telling me it was for investments. I want to tell you something about trust in a marriage. Not the dramatic kind of trust, not the trust that gets tested in obvious moments of crisis. The quiet kind. The kind that lives in the everyday assumptions you make about the person you share your life with. The assumption that when they say the money went to investments, it went to investments. The assumption that the financial picture they show you is the complete picture. The assumption that the life you are building together is being built on an honest foundation. I made those assumptions for 8 years. I made them because I loved my husband and because I had no reason not to, and because the alternative, that the man I had built a life with was systematically lying to me about money every single month for nearly a decade, was not something I was capable of imagining. I am capable of imagining it now. My name is Catherine. I am 41 years old. I have been married to my husband Richard for 11 years. We have 2 children, a daughter who is 8 and a son who is 6. We own a house in the suburbs. We have what most people would look at from the outside and describe as a comfortable, stable, ordinary American life. 3 months ago I was sitting at our kitchen table doing our annual tax return. Richard travels frequently for work. He is in logistics management and spends approximately 1 week per month away from home, and he had asked me to handle the tax preparation this year because he was in the middle of a particularly demanding project. I use a tax software program, and every year the process is the same. I gather our documents, enter the numbers, review everything, and we file jointly. This year the numbers did not add up. I had all of our standard documents. Our W-2s. Our mortgage interest statement. Our charitable donation receipts. Everything I gathered every year. But when I entered our income and compared it to our bank statements, there was a discrepancy I could not reconcile. Our joint account showed regular monthly transfers to an account I did not recognize, labeled in the transaction history simply as investment account. Richard had mentioned investments periodically over the years. I had assumed he meant our joint brokerage account, which I could access and which I reviewed occasionally. I had never questioned the transfers because the label matched the explanation I had been given. This year, for the first time, I looked up the account number the transfers were going to. It was not our joint brokerage account. It was a personal savings account opened in Richard's name only at a bank we had never used together. The account had been opened 8 years ago, 3 years into our marriage, 1 year before our daughter was born. I sat at the kitchen table for a long time before I did anything else. I accessed Richard's email. I knew his password because we had always had a policy of no secrets with devices, or so I had believed, and I found the account statements. 8 years of monthly transfers. Amounts that varied between $800 and $1,500 per month, depending on what our joint account could absorb without raising immediate alarm. Consistent. Methodical. Patient. The current balance was $127,340. I closed the laptop. I made dinner. I helped the children with homework. I put them to bed. I sat in the living room and I waited for Richard to call. He was traveling that week. And when he called at 9 o'clock, I told him the dinner had been fine and the children were well and that I had made good progress on the taxes. I told him everything was normal. I spent the next 3 days consulting an attorney without telling Richard. My attorney reviewed the account information I had gathered and told me that in our state marital assets include money accumulated during the marriage regardless of which spouse's name is on the account. She told me that Richard's secret account would be considered a marital asset in any divorce proceeding. She told me that his failure to disclose it constituted financial fraud within the marriage. She told me my options clearly and without judgment, and I sat across from her and listened to everything she said. On the fourth day, Richard came home from his trip. I waited until the children were in bed. Then I sat across from him at the kitchen table, the same table where I had been doing the taxes, and I showed him the account statements I had printed. Richard did not deny it. I want to be clear about that because it matters. He looked at the statements and he looked at me, and he did not pretend, did not perform confusion, did not reach for an alternative explanation. He had apparently been waiting for this moment for long enough that he had decided what he would say when it came. He said he had opened the account because he needed to feel financially secure independently. He said his parents had gone through a devastating divorce when he was 12 years old, and that his father had left with nothing because everything had been in his mother's name. He said the secret account was not about distrust of me specifically, but about a deep-seated need for financial independence that he had carried since childhood. He said he had always intended to tell me. He said the right moment had never come. I asked him how $127,000 accumulated over 8 years while our joint account was being managed carefully, while I was making decisions about what we could and could not afford based on a financial picture that was missing $127,000, constituted a deep-seated need for independence rather than a deliberate ongoing deception. He said I was being too black and white about something that was psychologically complicated. I told Richard the first wanted him to leave. He did not leave immediately. He said we should go to counseling. He said the children needed stability. He said what he had done was wrong, but that it was not worth ending an 11-year marriage over. He said he would transfer the money to our joint account immediately if that was what I needed. He said he loved me and that he was sorry and that he had been planning to tell me. I told him that a plan to tell me that had not materialized in 8 years was not a plan. It was a decision to keep a secret indefinitely and call it a plan to make himself feel better about it. Richard is staying at his brother's house. We have been separated for 3 months. My attorney and his attorney are in communication. The $127,000 is frozen pending the divorce proceedings. Richard attempted to transfer it the week after I asked him to leave, and my attorney moved quickly to prevent that. My mother says I am making a permanent decision in a moment of acute pain and that I should try counseling before filing. She says Richard's explanation, his parents' divorce, his need for financial security, is worth understanding even if his behavior was wrong. She says 11 years and 2 children deserve more than 3 months before a final decision. My sister says what Richard did was a fundamental betrayal that compounded itself every single month for 8 years, and that staying would require me to trust a man who has demonstrated that he is capable of systematic deception when it serves him. My therapist says both things are true and that the decision is mine to make when I am ready. I think about the 8 years. I think about every conversation we had about money, every discussion about what we could afford, every decision I made based on incomplete information, every month that he sat across from me at that kitchen table and said nothing. I think about $127,000 and what it would have meant for our children's education, for our retirement, for the financial decisions I made differently because I thought we had less than we did. I think about his explanation. His parents' divorce. His father leaving with nothing. I think about whether that history justifies 8 years of monthly deception or whether it explains it without excusing it. I have not forgiven Richard. I do not know if I will. I do not know yet if forgiveness and staying are the same thing or if they can be separated. I do not know if I am capable of trusting the financial picture of a life built with someone who has shown me he can hide $127,000 from it for 8 years without telling me. What I know is that I am sitting at my kitchen table looking at a marriage I thought I understood and realizing I did not understand it as completely as I believed. Was I wrong to file for divorce? Was I wrong to refuse counseling before making that decision? Or did 8 years of monthly deception make the foundation of our marriage something I can no longer stand on? You decide. Leave your verdict in the comments right now, NTA or YTA. And subscribe to The Verdict for new stories every single week. Because every story deserves a verdict.